Have you ever wondered our very essence, our soul, has a light of its own? Throughout human history, across countless cultures, spiritual traditions, it is a quiet, enduring question that speaks to our deepest sense of self. We see it in the golden halos painted above the heads of saints, ancient religious paintings, and icons. A visual representation of divinity inner purity. We hear of it in stories of auras, shimmering fields of colored light that surround living beings, revealing emotions' health spiritual state. These are not just artistic flourishes, they represent a profound human belief. A belief that life itself possesses a visible, radiant energy. This concept of a soul light is woven into our collective imagination. Our modern investigation into this mystery began by accident in 1939. A Soviet inventor named Semyon Kirlian was working in his small home laboratory in Krasnodar. He was repairing a piece of high-frequency medical equipment when he noticed something extraordinary. As his hand neared an electrode, he saw a beautiful, silent discharge of light, like a miniature lightning storm, outlining his fingers. Intrigued, Valentina, his wife, decided to try and photograph this strange phenomenon. They placed a photographic plate between an object and a high-voltage electrode, and what they captured astonished them. It was a glowing corona, a vibrant halo of light surrounding the object. This technique came to be known as Kirlian photography. A freshly picked leaf would appear to be surrounded by a strong, brilliant aura of light, but as the leaf withered and died, its glowing corona would appear to fade and shrink. Many concluded Kirlian photography was capturing the life force or aura of living things. The public was fascinated. Science versus myth. Decades after Kirlian's initial discovery, the research was taken to a new level by another Russian scientist, Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, a professor of computer science and biophysics at St. Petersburg Federal University. Dr. Korotkov developed a more advanced technique based on the same principles. He created a device called the Gas Discharge Visualization or GDV camera. This modern tool used digital photography and sophisticated software to analyze the glow in real time, translating the faint light patterns into complex computer models. Dr. Korotkov aimed to bring scientific rigor to a field often dismissed as pseudoscience. Dr. Korotkov's most famous and controversial experiments involved using his GDV camera to record the moment of death. He claimed the images captured a dramatic change in the energy field as a person passed away. According to his research, the light was vibrant and full just before death, then would surge and rapidly fade, appearing to leave the body. He interpreted this as the soul or consciousness separating from its physical vessel. These findings created a sensation, gaining worldwide media attention. His claims were bold and specific. However, mainstream science urged caution. While the debate over Kirlian photography raged, another quieter but perhaps more profound discovery was being made in the field of biophysics. In the 1970s, a German scientist named Fritz Albert Popp proved that all living cells, plants, animals, humans, emit a very faint, constant stream of light. This is not a mystical aura, but a real, measurable physical phenomenon. He called these particles of light biophotons. This light is a natural byproduct of the chemical reactions that happen inside our cells. They release tiny packets of energy in the form of photons. This light is incredibly weak, about 1,000 times less intense than what our naked eyes can detect. Its discovery required highly sensitive instruments called photomultipliers, capable of detecting and counting single photons in complete darkness. The emission of biophotons was not random. It appeared to be coherent, suggesting a role in communication between cells. With the discovery of biophotons, we have a real basis for light in living things, but it doesn't explain the vibrant images of Kirlian photography. So what exactly is happening in those pictures? The primary factor influencing a Kirlian photograph is not a life force. It's moisture. That moisture, plus the salts it carries, increases electrical conductivity around the skin. More conductivity, stronger electrical discharge, a brighter, larger corona in the photo. For example, an anxious person sweats more. Place their hand on a Kirlian plate. Increased moisture produces a large, fiery red corona. A calm person sweats less, producing a smaller, cooler blue corona. Side-by-side comparison, calm, less moisture, and anxious, more moisture. A fresh, water-filled leaf conducts well and shows a bright halo. As it dries, conductivity drops and the aura fades. Other physical variables matter too: pressure on the plate, room humidity, room temperature, the voltage used. Without strict control, results aren't reliable. The images are real. The glowing discharge is a genuine physical phenomenon. The error is assigning a metaphysical cause to a physical effect. Science outweighs myth here. So, we must separate two distinct ideas. On one hand, we have the dramatic, colorful coronas of Kirlian photography. These coronas are largely the result of electrical effects and moisture. They are not a direct image of a spiritual aura or life force. On the other hand, we have the scientifically validated phenomenon of biophotons. This is a real, albeit extremely faint, light. It is emitted by all living cells as a byproduct of metabolism. It is the quiet, constant glow of life itself. A biological reality far more subtle and in many ways more profound than Kirlian discharges. This is a light we can measure and study. Biophotons force us to reconsider what it means to be a living organism. We are not just collections of chemicals. We are dynamic systems constantly producing light, and perhaps communicating with light. This is not metaphysics, it is biophysics. The light is coherent, meaning orderly, and not random. The discovery of biophotons, this real light of life, brings us to an even deeper question. It is the question of consciousness. What is the relationship between the physical processes of our body, including this emission of light, and our subjective experience of being alive? Science can explain the mechanics of the brain, the chemistry of our cells. It can measure the electrical signals that fire between neurons, the photons released during metabolism. But can it explain the feeling of joy seeing the color red, the silent awareness that you are you? This is the hard problem of consciousness. One perspective is purely materialistic. Consciousness as emergent computation. It is what the brain does. Our thoughts, our feelings, our sense of self come from networks of neurons firing. Another perspective leaves room for more. Consciousness may be fundamental. So, did scientists capture the soul's light? The answer is not a simple yes or no. If we are talking about the colorful auras of Kirlian photography, the evidence points to a physical phenomenon, an electrical discharge interacting with moisture, not a spiritual field. The dramatic images of a soul leaving the body are most likely misinterpretations of physiological changes that occur at death. Science, in its role as a skeptical inquirer, has provided a more grounded explanation for these spectacular claims. It reminds us to look for the simplest answer first, to test our assumptions, and to be wary of seeing only what we wish to see. Yet this scientific explanation does not diminish the mystery of life. In fact, it adds a new layer to it. The discovery of biophotons reveals that we are, in a literal sense, beings of light. A quiet, constant glow emanates from the very core of our cells. This is not a myth or a metaphor. It is a measurable physical reality. This fact is, in its own way, as magical as any ancient story. It tells us that life has an inherent luminosity. It validates the intuition that there is a fire, a spark, that animates living things. Science did not find the soul's light, but it did find the body's light. Perhaps the true light of the soul was never meant to be captured by a camera or measured by a machine. Some truths may not be visible to the eye. They're not found in the electrical discharge of a photograph or even in the faint glow of our cells. They are found in acts of kindness, in moments of connection,